1958. A young singer walks into San Quentin prison with a guitar and a voice that cuts through stone walls. 1981. A fresh track hits Nashville radio and changes the charts. 1972. A queen of country steps onto the CMA stage and wins Entertainer of the Year, breaking barriers many thought were unbreakable. 1991. A jet lands on a midnight runway, carrying an artist who's just lived through both tragedy and triumph. Fast forward to 2025. The arenas are still full, the lights still blinding, and the fight for country's crown is as fierce as ever. One man scored 60 #1 hits, another reached 55, and a queen proved that nerve can beat doubt. But who really wears the crown? Is it about the numbers, the nerve, or the scars behind the songs? If you've ever had your heart broken or your hope restored, this story is yours too. Stay until the end, because you'll discover the R-cubed secret. Records times, rivalries times recovery. The hidden rule that decides who truly rules country music. In the 1950s to 1970s, the crown of country music wasn't handed down. It was earned in roadhouses and on radio. Some started with dust on their boots. Others came from army bases or the rock and roll stage. Conway Twitty was already famous in the 1950s as a rock singer, even sharing concert bills with Elvis. But in the late 60s, he switched to country, starting almost from zero again. Reba McEntire grew up ranching, learning hard work long before she stepped on a stage. George Strait served in the U.S. Army, then broke out with his first single, Unwound, in 1981. It's like changing careers and starting at the bottom all over again, only this time, under spotlights and critics' eyes. In country music, reinvention isn't betrayal. It's a badge of honor, proof you've lived enough life to tell a new story. But every newcomer faced the same test. Would the crowd accept them or side with the old guard? So who first turned reinvention into record books? The crown of records in country music belongs to George Strait and Conway Twitty. In 1981, George Strait's first single, Unwound, began a run that would rewrite the record books. For Conway Twitty, his move from rock to country in the late 60s paid off through the 70s and 80s, stacking hit after hit. Neither man was a loud talker. They didn't trade insults. They traded number one singles. Strait ended up with 60 numbers, 8 second. Twitty scored 55 number 8 second. It was a gentleman's race played out on the charts. It's like watching two marathon runners who give each other a nod at mile 25 and then start a dead sprint to the finish. These were quiet men with loud numbers. Each new release came with the question, will this one go number one? One question mark. But the pressure to stay at the top had to be balanced with staying true to their sound. Strait's first gigging band started when he was stationed in Hawaii with the Army. But a crown needs queens, so who broke doors for everyone else? The queens of country's crown are Loretta Lynn and Reba McEntire. In 1972, Loretta became the first woman to win CMA Entertainer of the Year. She sang fearless truths like in her song The Pill, which many radio stations banned in the mid-70s, but fans loved it even more. In 1991, tragedy struck when Reba lost several bandmates in a plane crash. She came back with a tribute album, turning grief into grace. It's like speaking your mind at work and paying a price, or getting knocked down and still showing up stronger. Here's the twist. The pushback often made their songs bigger. The fight was gatekeepers versus women who wouldn't soften the truth. Reba once planned to be a school teacher before music took over. So who carried the outlaw fire and rewrote myth both on stage and behind bars? In 1958, Johnny Cash walked into San Quentin prison with a guitar and a voice that could cut through steel. In 1968 and 1969, his live albums at Folsom and San Quentin changed how the world saw country music. These weren't polite songs for a quiet crowd. They were truths, sung from inside the wire. One man in the audience, Merle Haggard, was an inmate at the time. Cash's music made him rethink his life. Merle went on to give us songs like Mama Tried and Okie from Muskogee. It's like hearing one concert that makes you change your path completely. These outlaws became America's conscience, singing for people who had no voice. It was polite Nashville versus prison yard reality, and reality won fans everywhere. Cash's prison records hit number one and pulled country into new audiences. Numbers still matter. So who else stacked decades of hits and set the sound? In 1989, Alan Jackson broke through with his clean, honest storytelling and a style that felt timeless. Years earlier, Charlie Pride had already made history as one of country's first black superstars, proving that great songs cross every barrier. Alan went on to earn 35 number one hit across the charts. Charlie scored 36 number ones, leaving a legacy of inclusion and respect. It's like showing up your way, hat on, heart open, and winning over everyone in the room. No matter how trends changed, their classic sound stayed strong. The challenge was real. Radio waves were shifting, but the old truth still pulled listeners in. It was stereotypes versus songs that couldn't be ignored, and the songs won. Before music, Charlie pitched in minor league baseball. But what happens when the road turns dark and the show must go on? Heartbreaks fuel some of the most powerful chapters in country music. In 1991, Reba McEntire lost several bandmates in a plane crash, yet turned her grief into a tribute album that inspired millions. Johnny Cash fought personal battles while still making music that mattered. Merle Haggard carried the weight of his past. Loretta Lynn faced bans for songs that spoke too honestly. Through it all, they toured, recorded, and played shows, often using pain to lift the audience up. Tribute albums, comeback tours, and charity shows turned loss into purpose. It's like taking your worst year and turning it into your best work. The crowd often became the band's backbone, giving them the strength to keep going. The tension was always there. Would the next record heal or hurt? It was tabloids versus the truth in the liner notes. The phrase, 3 chords and the truth, became country's mission statement. So, who really decides the crown? The charts or the people? The people decide who wears the crown. From sold-out barns to packed stadiums, from honky-tonks to festival fields, the crowd is the final judge. One chorus, and 20,000 voices sing it back. Strait's arena reign, Reba's stagecraft, Cash's cross-genre pull, and Loretta's cultural shockwaves all prove it. It's like your first slow dance or your last road trip, with the perfect song as the soundtrack. Here's the twist. A song can outlive its singer, keeping the crown shining. But new waves always arrive. Can the legends hold the line? It's streaming charts versus living legends. Ready for the R-cubed secret, the rule that explains every crown change. Here's the R-cubed secret. From 1958 prison concerts, to 1981 chart debuts, to 1991 grief, to 2025 arena tours, every crown follows R-cubed. The kings and queens win twice, on the charts and in the storms. Records, Strait's 60 number ones, Twitty's 55. Rivalries, respectful chases that pushed each higher. Recovery, Loretta's bands. Reba's return, Cash and Merle's redemption. It's your life too. Scoreboards, competition, and getting back up. Lose a battle, win the ballad, and the ballad wins the crowd. New artists must clear all 3 bars, or the crown won't stick. Fans even keep private R-cubed lists, arguing who truly wears it. So what does the crown teach us beyond music? The true crown isn't a hat, it's a bond. R-cubed. Records show reach, rivalries sharpen skill, recovery wins hearts. Kings and queens are crowned by millions of small moments, not just one trophy night. Greatness is truth under pressure. A chorus swells, tears and smiles meet in the same verse. That's country. From 1958 to 2025, the crown follows scars and songs. After hearing their journeys, do you choose one crown or see that the house has many rooms? These kings and queens, George Strait, Conway Twitty, Reba McEntire, Loretta Lynn, Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, Alan Jackson, and Charlie Pride, built a home in country music where pain turns into hope and truth is sung without fear. The R-cubed secret, records, rivalries, and recovery, is the real measure of the crown. When new names appear, ask, do they have the records to prove their reach? The rivalries that sharpened their craft, the recovery stories that won hearts when the road turned dark. From prison yards to roadhouses, from chart debuts to arena sellouts, every crown has been shaped by scars and songs. It's never just about a trophy. It's about millions of small moments between artist and audience. Subscribe for more untold story deep dives into the legends and lessons behind the music. Question: who's your king or queen? And what record, rivalry, or recovery made their crown feel real? Like, share, and join the conversation below.